All right, moving on. We're on this one. Badges and collections. We improve the blueprint temperature. Read this, and I'm going to pick out the important points. So they want us now to do this. We need to be able to enter more than one temperature along with the place where it's taken, and we do not want anyone else to be able to change that temperature. All right. In principle, only one person, but in the future we could give access to more. Yes, that's possible. We'd like to monetize the project during the contract, charging a small commission for each reading. So each time you read it, you have to pay something. And we're being told you have to pay 0.001 XRD. And the place we add will be a city, but we will save it as a numerical code up to 3 digits. All right. So algorithm design, if you want, go ahead and plan this out. Now let's have a look at it. Sub-problem 1, being able to enter more than one temperature and include a place. I'm already set up. I've created a folder called Advanced Temperature, which is now showing here. And I have my code from the last project, and I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to replace this Hello World. Don't need this anymore. So the first thing we're going to do is create a table where we can store the city code and the temperature. And in here, the associated temperature. So we could put in here 001, which let's say represents London, and the temperature 23.5. And here we can put number 2, and let's say number 2 is 13.2. Number 3. And this is called a hash map. It has a key, which is the code, and it has the value, which is the temperature. To read more about hash maps, you can go into Rust, and it's round about it. Here we go. Storing keys with associated values in hash maps. So again, this is something you should read and you should understand to enhance your knowledge. All right, let's continue. So the blueprint has to contain a structure, and the structure will have a hash map, which we'll call temperature table. So it's a hash map with an unsigned 16-bit integer, which potentially can give us up to the value 999. And the associated value will be a decimal for the temperature. So in here, we create a temperature table, which will be a new hash map. All right, before we save and publish this, a couple of things to fix. So this should be a comma, not a colon. I'm not going to use this method. And here we're putting in an initial temp, which I am now no longer doing. So I don't need that. Save it. And we're good to go. So let's publish it, call the instantiate temp function, and have a look at the component. And as you can see, our struct now has the hash map. All right. Let's continue. All right, so the next part we have to do is create a method so we can input some data. So we're going to do a public function. We'll call it new temperature. And because we can change it, it will be mutable, referring back to self. And it's a hash map. And the first bit is a city code. And it's an unsigned 16-bit integer. And the second part is the temperature, and it is a decimal. And for the main body in the method, we need to put this data into the temperature table. So self, refer to self, temperature table, and we are going to insert the city code and the temperature. And to get more data on insert, go to the Rust programming language 8.3 again, updating a hash map, and read this section. Okay, so we can put in temperatures. Now let's read them. So another method, we'll call this read temperature. So here we have to do a mutable reference to self and allow the user to enter the city code, which will be an unsigned 16-bit integer. And then we're going to write the main body of the method. So assert allows us to check that the temperature table, so self.temperature table, contains the key of the city code that the user entered. And if it does, we can go ahead, and if it doesn't, we print the message, sorry, this is not a valid city code or whatever. Okay, so now we have to grab the correct temperature. So we create a new variable called temperature of the city. It's a decimal. And from the temperature table, so self.temperature table, we have to get the city code that the user entered. We have to unwrap the hash map, and then we have to grab or clone the associated value. So let's display this. So the temperature of curly brackets is curly brackets degrees, and in the first curly brackets we'll have the city code, and in the second curly brackets we'll have temperature of the city. All right, we should now be good to go. So let's have a look at this, enter a temperature and read from the table. Now before we go ahead, let me just tidy this up and add some comments. All right, so let's do the usual. So create a new account, save the variables, publish, grab the package address, call the function and instantiate temp, and now let's look at the methods. Oops, my bad, got a typo. Let's do this again. And we'll enter a city code of 001 and a temperature of 21.5. So when we use insert, it inserts a new pair. Now if we use insert again and keep the city code as 001 and put 18.7, this will automatically overwrite what is in the hash map, as you will see in a second. So now let's add another couple of pairs, so we have 3 pairs in the hash map. All right, so let's use the read temperature method to read these, and the temperature of 1 is 18.7 because we overwrote it at the beginning. The temperature of 2 is 12.5, and the temperature of 3 is 30.2. Now let's use the new temperature method to overwrite number 3 to 17.5 and then read it. The temperature of 3 is 17.5 degrees. All right, that's all we're going to do in this video. We will complete the task in the next video. Thank you for watching.